Hey there, Clashers, and thanks for stopping by Clash of Clans gameplay. This is Brian with 49er Warclan, and just continuing on here with the Town Hall 11 that I gemmed up today, and going through and just going to show some of the attacks I did today. I've been utilizing the same strategy, which is 4 golems plus 1 golem in the CC, going with 15 wizards and 5 witches. My witches are level 3 now, and I do think that has an impact, and the Grand Warden has a huge impact, as you'll see within some of these raids. So overall, I would say we're starting to notice some of the changes in that it is an improvement on clouds. Certainly, I would say in other levels of Titan. In Titan 1, I've noticed a modest improvement, but it still varies. So I've had earlier in the day, I was able to find more bases and be able to get more attacks in, which is a big help to pushing. But as I've kind of gotten up now, I'm 4,920 cups, somewhere around there, I think, 4,926. And as I've been there, it's starting to slow again as there's less and less bases to find. Now, maybe there's a lot of people on shields, so tough to know, but we'll see how it goes. So going through and taking a look at an attack at this Town Hall 10, you can see it's extremely powerful being able to use all these troops, and especially the Grand Warden, I think, has a big impact because it's helps from a boost of troops hit power, also has a benefit of actually healing the troops, and then really another free spell if you think about it. So if you have timing appropriately of it, it's extremely valuable. And I found that given the range that it has, that when you're down lower, or not down lower, but as you kind of are going through certain sections of the base and getting into a core, it allows you to just time it appropriately, and timing is extremely important with the Grand Warden. If you get that timing down, you do great. My initial thoughts on what I'm seeing is I actually think it's harder, at least I could be wrong, but I think it's harder, or going to be harder to 3-star for a Town Hall 10 to 3-star another Town Hall 10 than it is for a Town Hall 11 to 3-star another Town Hall 11. Now, time will tell. But what I've been able to do, at least initially, hasn't been too hard. So I at times when I was a max Town Hall 10 attacking another 10, I was typically getting 2 stars. Every once in a while, I might just get a 1-star, and very rarely was I ever losing, but certainly it does happen. I did have an opportunity to attack a number of Town Hall 11s today, including some ones that are max, as you'll see here. And I didn't have any problems getting to the 2nd star. And if I was looking at it in a war type of scenario, I think it would have been very different. So on this base, for example, I had 2 jump spells to get to the core, and then I utilized the Warden's Atone once I was able to get into the core of the base and move on. But at the end of this raid, I ended up stopping around 55%. I might have been able to get a little bit more, but I think what would have been a big difference is I still had a jump spell left. And had this been a war attack, I would have only used 2 jump spells to start. And the difference that I would have had would have been bringing probably an extra free spell. And I think that would have put me in a position to freeze the Inferno again, or freeze a couple of defenses. And I would have been in a much different position to, I think, even progress further and have an outside chance for 3 stars. So being able to do that day one of a completely revolutionized attack strategy with troops, I think is kind of a statement of it. So I'm already thinking at some point that this is going to have a bit of a nerf, or there's going to be some adjustments, maybe another level of the Eagle defense, or some of the other defenses are going to get upgraded, such as, perhaps Expos getting upgraded or Inferno Towers. Tough to say, but at least for the time being, I don't think defensively there is as much to be feared from this Eagle defense or Eagle artillery. So I'm going in, and a lot of people talked about how this was going to end the golem strategy, and that you were no longer going to be able to use the mass golem strategy, and that was going to completely change. And I just flat out don't think that's true. And you can kind of see from the raids that I have here that I'm not having a problem at all using 4 golems plus a golem in the CC. Now, I had already been using a similar strategy to that as a Town Hall 10, and now it's just taking a look and adding the Grand Warden in there. And it's taking a look at proper timing of when you're going to hit the Atone. And I pay no attention to the Grand Warden's actual health as to when I hit the atone or anything like that. It's entirely taking a look at the other troops, taking a look at if there's a lot of troops firing down on, say, wizards or witches. If you've got multi-infernos that are hitting witches or wizards, I may hit it then, enough time to get the multi-inferno down. And I've just found it to be very easy on these bases that have open cores to be able to get that core down relatively easily. And this one was obviously a Town Hall 11, and as this kind of progresses onto the raid, I was very close on this one to a 3-star. I think I end up about 93%, something like that. So pretty impressive to look at how powerful that is. So now you could look at it a couple different ways from what I'm saying, in the fact that this might be easier to 3-star, and people say, oh boy, that's not good. They want it to be difficult. But I think it's two ways. I mean, I think a lot of times you look at a Town Hall 10 level, it makes it very difficult to get 3 stars. And sometimes I think it makes a lot of frustration, and that's where you've heard a lot of people, including myself, that say that Town Hall 9 is the most balanced and the most complete, because there's a lot of different attack strategies that can be utilized. It's not easy to get a 3-star, but it's not impossible either. So there's a lot of flexibility, I think, when it comes to that. So we'll go through and take a look here at one last replay, which is going to be a defensive replay, which I think was very interesting. And so he's coming in with a Lava Loon. This is a Town Hall 10, so he's attacking up. So he's certainly at a disadvantage, but talking more so how I think there was a lot of other YouTubers and other people out there suggesting that Mass Golem was done and Dragons was going to be the best attack strategy. And I think you could almost make an argument of the reverse. And the reason I will say that, well, at least initially, is I think there's going to have to be a change to how people attack with air. So if you look at this, he went through the air portions raid and he's got 32%. Not ideal, but if you were looking at a Town Hall 10, if you got max heroes, you're not really going to be concerned. You can say, well, yeah, I only have 32%, but I still have 6 wall breakers, 3 archers, a hog, a king and queen, an earthquake spell, and a poison spell. So you'd be, well, no problem. But the problem is he didn't get the eagle defense down. So if you don't get that eagle defense down, trying to do anything as far as sniping of troops or dropping your heroes after you've gone through the air portion of your raid just typically is not going to help you. So in this instance, as you look at it, he had 32% before he dropped all those additional troops. Very quickly, his king is taken out. Then he's got the CC being triggered. His queen's there, and he's just done. So, and I don't think you've ever seen at the second portion of a raid after an air is done that you only get 6%. That's just unheard of. And so I think that kind of shows a real knock on air to where I think you're going to need to change. So we'll talk about it more, but hopefully you guys find that interesting and like some of these replays. I'll make sure to show some more. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, clash on.